Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for 22 News at noon. I'm Rich Teddemer. We're following breaking news right now where a state of emergency has been declared in Easthampton. Severe weather hit there this morning and snapped trees and left many homes without power. State Police spokesman David Procopio told 22 News their air wing will be flying over Easthampton to assess the damage. As a live look from News 7's chopper, the NBC affiliate WHDH in Boston, giving us a live look right now. And 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Nick Bannon is on the ground to give you a closer look at the damage. Let's go live to Nick.
All right, guys, we're live here in Easthampton, just off of Mountain Road. Sorry for the camera adjustments there. We're dealing with basically the potential for either it was a microburst or a tornado that happened just after 4:45 this morning. You may have read elsewhere that some are confirming it as a microburst, but the National Weather Service is actually sending a representative named Alan Dunham. He's on his way. He's about 30 minutes away from us here in Easthampton. He's going to make the official determination about whether the storm that arrived just after 4:45 this morning was indeed a microburst, which is kind of the perspective that both myself and meteorologist Ashley Baylor are leaning toward. I'm going to step out of the camera here, pan over a little bit to show you just some of the damage just next to this home here between, this is Holyoke Street and Hardwick Street. I'm going to zoom in on this particular branch and show you just how much wind it must have taken to pull the roots out of the ground from this pretty substantial tree. It probably does bring you some reminder of some other storm damage that we've had in the past. Especially a June 1st tornado, we did see some trees lifted up in this way, and that's certainly what we've seen a little bit of. I did speak with someone who lived at that house just next door, which was, believe it or not, mostly, if not completely spared because of the direction that the trees did blow. Now I'll step back in front of the camera here. See that house, the wind was obviously coming that way to knock the trees in that direction. Obviously, if the wind had blown the other way, then we would be talking about more damage to that house. Now, further up Holyoke Street, then you get to the intersection of Hardwick Street, which is where a lot of these construction and power line utility, there's Western Massachusetts Electric, Northeast Utilities there, I believe. Yeah, that's Western Massachusetts Electric there. Verizon Wireless may be working on restoring the power, the phone lines to this area. You see some of their trucks. That's along Hardwick Street, which is the most residential street here at the bottom of Mount Tom. That's where they're dealing with most of the work right now, because that's where the majority of the people are living here at the base of Mount Tom. So that's where they're working on restoring power. Believe it or not, I spoke with the mayor of Easthampton just a short while ago. She said that there's only 5 homes without power now. So it's a very confined to this area, the damage. And you can see actually at the top of Mount Tom just what a large mountain that we talk about here when we talk about Mount Tom, or a large hill, small mountain, that type of deal. And Hendrick Street, I'm just being corrected by a neighbor here. It's Hendrick Street. Thank you so much. So Hendrick Street and Holyoke Street, those are the 2 cross streets that we're speaking with here. And a lot of the damage happened along Mountain Road in Easthampton, and we actually talk about some of the damage over the wintertime, ice storms, snowstorms, that type of thing. It's almost a very exposed roadway. It's close to a lot of trees on either side, and when wind hits a mountain, it can do some unusual things, like it certainly looked like it did today, and it leaves it somewhat exposed to the elements in a way. If you've driven along Mountain Road, it's a very windy, steep at times road, and that certainly makes it even more difficult for these road crews to go and clean it up. So that's what we're watching out here. But again, it's these trees to the right of this home that really tell the story. I'll just pan over and show you there, and it's that damage, and it's not just here, it's up the road as well, not only on Hendrick Street, but also on Mountain Road, and that's what we've been watching from this storm that moved through around 4:45. Some saying it's a microburst, but in terms of confirmation, we do not know yet. We won't know until an official representative from the National Weather Service gets here in supposedly about a half an hour's time, and he's the guy that's done a lot of storm surveys for us, like the microburst in Wilbraham, as well as the June 1st tornado. He was out for that too. So we will know more once he gets here to take a look. But we've had aerial views from our affiliate in Boston, WHDH, showing us the views from above. We've also seen a lot of state police helicopters surveying the damage from above as well, and we'll continue to know more as we go through this newscast, and we'll check back with you in a little bit. 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Ashley Baylor was on air live this morning. When we started our newscast at 4:26, we were the only ones on live tracking the storms that early, and she's been looking at some of the pictures that I've been seeing here, and has also been trying to determine from what we can see. It does look a little bit more like a microburst, but we won't know for sure, Ashley.
Yeah, I would absolutely have to agree with you that this really looks more like a microburst type of storm. And here's why. This is really what the clue is here, is that if we were to actually think that this was a tornado, we would see the trees in a more of a cyclonic pattern, just kind of going in a circle. But since the trees, at least from the footage that we've seen and at least from the photos that we've seen, the trees look like they're in more of a diverging pattern. As you can see here, a lot of tree damage just in general. But look here, look at the top of your screen. You can see those trees are all kind of in the same direction, even though they are uprooted, and yeah, that has a bit of a stigma attached to normally tornado damage, but you have to just be aware that microburst damage can be the exact same thing as tornado damage. So it really just comes to the pattern of which the trees are in. That's the big determiner there. But certainly we're taking another aerial look, but yeah, this is what we are looking at here, is just those trees down in the same direction. So, not just me, but Nick Bannon as well, and plenty of other meteorologists that we've talked to across New England today. We all seem to have the same perspective here. A lot of us think this is a strong microburst, but again, we can't stress this enough, that it's going to be really up to the National Weather Service storm surveyors to determine exactly what happened. They're going to be on the ground looking at things very closely. You can see right here, the tree is completely sheared in half. That was indicative of the June 1st tornado. We saw a lot of damage like this, but again, we just can't stress enough that even though this looks like tornado damage, straight line winds, microbursts can cause the exact same type of damage. They can have winds in excess of 80, 90, even 100 miles per hour. So that's why you get, extreme damage like this. The other question we've had from viewers this morning is, how come there was no watch issued? How come there was no tornado warning issued? We only had the severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect primarily for eastern parts of Hampshire County. So actually where Easthampton is, there was no watch or warning posted. And I think what's important to know is that sometimes these things can happen so rapidly that, almost the delay of time, you can't even catch up with the storm. These storms were moving at 50 miles per hour. I mean, they were moving very, very fast. And I'm just going to zoom in here, and you can see exactly where that damage was. But that's the key here, is that these storms move so fast, and the wind could have just come down out of the storm so fast that there really wouldn't have even been time. Once the damage was done, it was done. But luckily, the warning did go in effect for eastern parts of Hamden, Hampshire, and Franklin County. So at least those places could be warned of the potential for very strong winds. The only wind gust actual number we've seen so far is we did have a 55-mile-per-hour wind gust at Barnes Airport in Westfield, and that is tropical storm force winds, not hurricane force, but tropical storm force winds. And these are actually